Welcome back to Around the Block Volleyball. We kicked off international season this week with the VNL. US women started playing, and we have a lot to discuss about it.
Oh man.
Let's get started, but first, before we do any of that discussion, we just want to acknowledge our interview with Dylan Klein.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone really saw that coming.
Yeah.
We didn't really see it coming, but
Yep.
it was awesome to have him on. He was a really awesome guest, and he's a super chill dude. And it was a really fun talk. I think we're just excited for what we have in the future for us, and then also for Dylan himself. I thought
We got to learn a lot.
yeah,
For
obviously we heard about the Team USA stuff and
His injury.
yeah, the injury. So him rehabbing and taking this summer to himself, and hopefully, he comes out next year with USC, guns a-blazing.
Yep, I'm a believer. And now we're going to move on right into the VNL. We're going to be reviewing the USA mostly. That's our thing. And let's start with the first match versus Italy.
Right, and then if people aren't tuned in, VNL kind of goes like week
yeah.
1, 3, 2, 3, 4, and then it kind of switches between
Yeah.
like the women's, then men's, women's and men's.
Yep. So
this
our
is the
coverage,
women's,
our
yeah.
coverage will also be alternating
Yes.
between men's and women's, just as the weeks go. This is the women's week, and
Starting out with the game against Italy.
yeah, let's just talk about the set scores first.
Yeah.
It was a 13-25, 13-25, and then 28-30. We got 3-0'd, but the last set looked good.
Yeah, and I think this is what Coach Eric Sullivan did mention, was that he was proud about how the U.S. team fought at the end of the match, which is very true. I mean, I feel like you definitely could have just packed it in as a team, like emotionally and everything, where you're just like, oh, we got owned the first 2 sets. Who really cares? Like, this is just going to be, we're going to watch this match away and we'll just move on to the next one. But hey, they fought in that third set. I mean, they definitely had a chance to take it to 4, but again, it's okay. I mean, 28-30.
It's a young team.
Yeah, it's not a great showing, obviously. It's
Yeah.
not what the fans would want to see, but you know what? This is just the start too. So
Yeah.
a lot of new faces.
I think that this game, pretty much during the third set mostly, but there are a lot of flashes where, you can kind of see the future, like what could be coming up for this Team USA. Who on this roster could be pulling their weight for the Olympics in LA. So I think that this was good for the US.
Yeah, I agree. I think the main thing to me was how good the young players really looked. And I mean, that to me, that was mainly Logan Lednicki, Sarah Franklin, Maddie Skinner, even still, obviously Olivia Babcock. But then you still got to think about it that even Ambrai GD, I mean, she just graduated a year before, so she is still getting a lot of experience. Molly McCage did a little bit before that, and she's also been growing as a player, obviously with the pro scene. So it's a very young team. I think Morgan Hentz has also been doing well now and has had some time in the pros, but it's a really young team. But there were definitely good moments here and there for sure.
Yep, 100% agreed. And this isn't even all of our young players right now. We still had Avery Skinner not playing. She's a young player.
Yeah, this is like the really, really young players.
Yeah.
I mean, it is awesome to kind of see that Olivia Babcock is already getting some time on the pro team.
Yeah.
And on the national team, just because of she's a junior right now?
About to be a junior.
Yeah,
Not even officially a junior.
Yeah, she's
yet.
a rising junior.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's insane. And it's awesome that she's getting the reps that you'd want her to have already. But there's a lot of things that I think they're trying to figure out still. I think one of the main ones that we saw was Maddie Skinner being moved onto the outside again, which was very interesting, especially because she did it during the college season this year. But then after she went right into pro, she was on the opposite, and she was dominating. I mean, one of the best players, and we saw that because they won the whole thing. And then they moved her back to the outside. It was very interesting.
I think it was worth a try. I mean, I drafted her during our draft as an outside.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, at least for this game, or this week, didn't really work. I think it's just the U.S. doesn't have any particularly strong passers right now, and I think it's very easy to get exposed, especially for Maddie Skinner, who's probably the weakest passer of the outside group, especially because she wasn't doing it during the pro season.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't really getting the reps.
Or even really this past college season, she wasn't passing too much either.
But, she wasn't really playing back row.
Yeah, so
there's a lot that she has to adjust to if they are trying to make her an outside.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I mean, potentially that could happen. We have to see how it goes. But right now, I mean, it was a tough game. But this was the first one for the week.
Yeah, and we still got more things to talk about. So let's move on to the Brazil game, where Brazil also won 3-0. The scores were 25-18, 25-17, 25-19, so no close set in this one, and I think it kind of showed because this one felt a little bit more brutal to me.
Yeah, and to me, I think a lot of it was on the errors. There was definitely a lot more errors for USA that were just giving free points away pretty much to Brazil, and that hurts a lot. But again, there was a lot of different faces on this second match too. So there's not too much consistency yet, which is understandable. I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to expect that they're gonna bounce back in the next match when it's still different players.
Yeah. Also, let's get everything straight. They just played two of the best teams in the world.
Oh yeah. I mean, Italy literally just won the Olympics. So that, there's that.
Yeah, so even with like a more bolstered and experienced roster, these were going to be hard games anyways. So the way that everyone played in this, completely fine with me. It's just like asking a college kid to go play against the pros, which is essentially what happened.
And again, I think it's interesting to see the different pins that the US has. And this one, we were mainly able to see more of a Logan Eggleston, and Ronnie Jones-Perry was also there, which was very nice to see. And then Olivia Babcock got more playing time here as well. I thought Logan Eggleston looked pretty good, but you still see that there's still growing pains, I guess, which still was happening in League One as well.
I think a lot of just adjustments to this pro level, because even from League One to the level of like a Brazil and Italy, it's intense. Like the jump, it's another jump, just even from League One. So
yeah,
it's tough. I mean, I wouldn't say disappointing part, but the sad part about this game for me was that there were a lot of like good rallies that the US is putting together. So I like the scores weren't that close, but I think there were a lot of plays in this that made it feel like it could be close. Just all of them fell in Brazil's direction. So it's just kind of putting the ball away, ending some points. It was just hard for the US here.
Yeah, I think that's been, I mean, we can talk about it later, but the main theme for me has been, can their serve receive hold up? And then also just putting the ball away. I think that is an extra step that you need at this level, especially playing two of the better teams, is can you actually put the ball away when you do have a good pass? Because if you don't, then, the good pass is kind of just wasted in a way, I guess.
There is a lot of, I mean, we'll talk about it more as games also continue, but there's a lot more like tipping, a little bit less aggressive swings that I'd like to see, because that's just kind of what you have to do at this level. Because if you're not swinging aggressively, your tips and rolls won't work because they're not going to respect your hard swings. So
and even at this point, the teams that are more defensive oriented, like Japan or Thailand, those teams also have big swings.
Yeah.
So you can't really just hope that your defense is going to carry you and you're going to have low errors and you're going to beat teams out that way.
Yeah.
So again, more growing pains for this team, but this was definitely the rougher match in the week.
Yeah.
I would say.
But well, let's move on to the next one, and we can talk about how the feelings are.
Yeah.
Because next we had the U.S. versus Czechia, and the U.S. We got a reverse swept.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's no real good way to spin it. This definitely should have been a win for them as well. The good thing is that there were more positive things to take away from the game.
We won our first sets in this game.
Yeah.
I was getting a little scared.
Yeah.
This is good.
I mean, again, we can just talk about, the players that we thought were doing really well. And Sarah Franklin, again, I think she's been offensively the best out of the pin so far. I think she's been the most consistent, I would say, as well.
I'd say she's overall the best pin that we've played this week.
Right, yeah. Going from that, I think the middles is also pretty nice to see.
Yeah, our middle play is like low-key kind of lit.
I think, again, it just comes down to serve receive. Can you get the middles the ball?
Yeah.
And then, like, this middle setter connection, like, that's important as well. But, hey, man, Amber Igidi had a really good week. Molly McCage also looked very good. Even Anna Dodson had moments, so the middles is definitely something that's been looking pretty good.
Yep, those are definitely the positives. And again, I'd say with this one to remind everyone, the fifth set goes to 15 points. This one ended at 27-25. So it was another extra points fighting situation for the US in last set of the match for them, where they couldn't pull out a win, which sucks again, especially because they had a couple match points. They actually might have been like 7-8 match points.
Yeah, in a row, but could not close it out. But and then this is kind of a thing that you were talking about when we were talking about the game, but it doesn't feel good when they're always trying to stir a positive out of it when it's still in a loss.
Yeah.
But again, to be fair, to defend that at least a little bit, I will say that yes, it sucks for the loss, but the good thing is that you have dealt with a match where you had to learn how you know what it feels like to lose in pretty much this is the worst way possible, right? To be honest, this is the worst way to lose, right? You win the first two, you get reverse swept, and it's in really large overtime.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's good for experience for these players that we're looking 4 years from now. They got used to it. They've seen these types of games before, so
they
won't be taken by surprise.
Yeah. What are other good? I guess I'll just talk about that positivity type thing right now, because this is the game where it stuck out to me the most. Like Mike said, I'm not a big fan of the US trying to like really, really spin everything in as positive of a way as possible. It actually happened with the VNL broadcast as well, where instead of talking about how really tough the loss was, it was more along the lines of like, yeah, but this is all for a learning experience. What did you guys learn from this? And they didn't really talk too much about, this loss is tough. Like, I think there's ways to acknowledge that it was not a good loss without just really, really, I feel like they're sugarcoating it too much, but it might be balancing out the fans that are being too big of doomers.
Yeah.
Because Jesus, some people.
Yeah, because that's not what we're saying. We're definitely not saying that they need to act like losers. There shouldn't be something that, like, there's no positives to take away from this game. Because that's just not the case. That's just not true. And that's just sports. Like, I think that's something that people need to understand, that someone is going to always win and someone is going to always lose. And the thing is, it's important on how I feel like the U.S. can bounce back. And I think that's important. I mean, we see it from the next game, obviously, but then also I think week two is really going to matter.
Very big.
In just the attitude of the team and the demeanor on the bench and all the players. I think that's what's going to matter on how they come back for week two. I think that's what I'm looking for.
Especially because, I mean, I don't know how possible it is going to be for the U.S. women just from this position, but you want to make playoffs still.
Right, yeah.
So, you just want to be in the playoffs. You want to be in the best situation possible to still continue to grow, because, if you don't, you're not growing.
Yeah, and, I mean, let's be real. The USA has a high standard, especially for women's volleyball. I mean,
we've been medaling.
Silver in the last Olympics last year, and then gold the year before in Tokyo. Like, there's a high standard, and that's the reality of things, to be honest. So it does really suck that this is how the US came out, but there's a lot of moving parts here. Obviously, it's a lot of players that were not on those teams, to be fair. So I don't think it's fair to really be bashing them as much as you might have if it was a lot of the veteran players.
Yeah.
And then also the new coach, I'm not sure how much that matters, but it is a difference. I am always curious to always see like what the player coach interactions are like on the sideline during timeouts and stuff, but yeah. I mean, this game was to me, there's not a lot that's great that comes from this game.
Yeah, I just want them to come back with a fire. We'll talk about it like really quickly, really shortly after this, but I want them to come out from this game with a fire, trying to win more games. I mean, obviously you want to get better, you want to improve, but part of that is also, I want to play harder. I want to play at my best. I want to make sure I'm attacking aggressively. I want to see that fire from all of the players and the coaching even.
For sure.
I don't know if I particularly saw that. I feel like it hurt. To me, it felt like too much of a, we're here to learn. It's okay. Like whatever happens, happens. But like, I want to see the fire it makes me more comfortable about, okay, even if it's a new squad, they have the fire to like really, really grow and still come out to win.
Yeah. And to me, I think that I personally think it comes more from the players.
Yeah.
I think the attitude that they have on the court and by their play, I think is going to matter. And honestly, like, the wins matter to me as well. But also, like, these 3 games that we've been talking about, there were just times where it doesn't look very convincing on, like, and this is, I'm not trying to bash them like crazy amount, but I'm hoping to see a little bit more, like, effort and aggressiveness. Because, I mean, we've seen what a lot of these players can do in, like, the League One and and, like, how they've been playing. They're amazing players.
Yep.
And it's just, we want to be able to see that at this level, which for a lot of them, I think it's possible. So,
Agree.
Again, just looking to how they can actually move forward in week 2.
Yep.
And even the game right after.
Yeah. And let's just move on to the last game quickly. It's probably going to be the game we talk about the least.
Which is a good thing in some ways.
I don't know. It's the USA versus Korea. It was a 3-0 for the USA. Perfect, exactly what we needed to do. But also Korea is the worst team in VNL by a lot.
Yeah, but you know what, man? This is the game that you got to win, and then they win.
Yeah,
right, and they won it in 3 sets.
You got to do what you got to do. Second
that's all I'm
set,
saying.
You don't like that it's that close, but you still win.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, still find a way to win.
Korea's not a good team, but they're not that bad of a team, so yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's important that they won this game and they won it 3-0.
Probably better for the mental.
That's the best thing that you can take away from it is that they won this game, they came back, they came out a little bit stronger. So definitely a good one. And then again, I think this was a better Maddie Skinner game. I think everyone has been putting their eyes on her.
Yeah.
I mean, because they saw what she was able to do, obviously in college, and then pro this last couple months. So definitely a lot of pressure on her, I would say, from a lot of people. But you know, I think if she gets the opportunities, I think she will. So I'm not that worried, to be honest.
Yeah, I think this is another game where everything was just working out, giving players the chance to like really work on things, giving Maddie Skinner her chance to play hard. Because this competition isn't like, I said that Korea was probably the worst team, but they're not bad.
It's still the VNL.
Yeah. So it's good, and it can really get all these players into like a little bit more of a groove, more comfortable playing at
hopefully
the international stage. The pressure to get a win is off now.
Yeah.
I think probably how Korea is feeling now, you keep losing. That never feels good. That's kind of in the back of your mind for every game. So, but this is good.
Yeah, it's a good way to at least finish off week 1 in a positive note. And then
hopefully head into week 2.
Yeah, it's trying to take the momentum of this game into week 2 and hopefully more wins to come, or very competitive at least. And I think it can happen for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a believer.
Yep. And now we can just talk about, we've already talked about a lot of overall themes from the week of the US, but let's continue our talk. But first, let's start off with, who is our USA VNL MVP for week 1?
This one was tough. I think there was 2 that made the most sense. I felt like for the most part, I was thinking about Morgan Hens personally, just because of its consistent play. I felt like she might have been one of the more consistent players for the week. But you can say the other one. I feel like she definitely has a case as well.
Yep, this was my choice. I picked Amber Igidi as my MVP. I think it sort of built up, but I think once she found her groove offensively with the blocks, actually the blocking was always there. What am I talking about? But I think she was the best performing player for the U.S. here. I think she was completely steady. When she was able to be found as an offensive weapon, she was the U.S.'s offensive weapon.
Yeah, super efficient, which is obviously super important for a middle, but I mean, she was doing it, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's also important when the U.S. is struggling in so many games. It's good to have still someone to rely on offensively, even if you can't find her always. But I think especially just the block presence, just her and Molly McCage combined, it was
nice.
It was looking like
nice.
what we want from the U.S. blocking. That's kind of our thing. So it's good to see.
Yeah, I think I was leaning towards Morgan Hans, but then it was like this last game against Korea and then how she did against Czechia, where it was like, all right, never mind. She had big games. She really showed up, and she was out there putting in effort, and I mean, she had the fire that we were talking about, that she's going for the win and she wants it.
100%. I can feel that fire, that desire to win from her. So I'm enjoying her play right now. I think she deserves the MVP for this week.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Morgan Hans was just right there, but Amber Igidi did amazing week 1.
Yep. Honestly, I think, Morgan Hans didn't play one of the games, which I think is already makes it harder because you never know what could have happened in that game.
Yeah.
But I guess, in my opinion, I think I'd like to see her take a lot more leadership, kind of in the way that Justine Wong does. Like,
for sure.
Sometimes Justine Wong, we can really hear her on the court through the broadcast. I'm like, whoa, she's screaming that loud.
Yeah.
So that's just the step up that I want to take. Obviously, it's getting comfortable with all these players because I'm not sure if Morgan Hens has played
with a lot of them. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I agree too. I think for sure for Morgan Hens, this is the standard that you want because, I mean, she's been amazing her whole career. So I think just asking more of her is reasonable. I don't think it's anything that's too insane for us to say that she definitely can do it.
Yeah.
I think just being more confident and communicating like how we've seen her being able to do her whole career. If she just carries it onto here, I think she definitely can have a bigger impact than how she did week 1.
Yeah,
which is not a bad. She didn't have a bad week 1.
I think technically she played absolutely fine.
Yeah. She played fine for sure. So it's just
the leadership.
And it's Morgan Hens, so we have
high standards.
Yeah, high standards for Morgan Hens because of how good she is,
and the spot that she is filling right now for the U.S.
Yeah. I mean, from what you've seen from Justine Wong-Orantes,
sets a high standard.
Yeah.
And then is there anything else you want to talk about? Just U.S. in general. I guess things that we'd want to see from the next week even.
I'm not too sure. I feel like, I mean, I'm going to assume that Jordan Poulter might play this week. I'm not too sure, actually.
Yeah.
I think that could be huge. I think the experience of Jordan Poulter, I just want to see how the connection is with the hitters and the decision making. Because obviously she's been able to make those great decisions previously. So I'm curious how that might change it for the team.
I think originally we wanted Jordan Poulter to rest a little bit more, but I think because this team is so new, I would like to see a little bit more of like a experienced and maybe calming presence for all the young players because it can be overwhelming when it's everyone's first time at this level.
Yeah, and it's a lot of new faces, and I think Jordan Poulter can definitely have a good calming effect and leadership that will just help out the U.S. And again, if it leads in wins or not, that's to be seen, but I think it's important to have some presence like that, and I think she can definitely do that.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just hoping for how it looks with the other players. Like, I kind of want to just see some newer players in and just see how they can impact it.
The big players that we were kind of looking for to come in and play this summer. Like, I mean,
I know the middles this week were honestly doing pretty well. But it would be really nice to see.
You want like Dana Recchi.
Yeah. A Dana Recchi in here it'd be so fun to see how she does.
Avery Skinner.
Yeah. See her. Again, another player that I feel like can help out the team a lot in just confidence on the court and being
Much
more comfortable.
very, very reliable.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a couple of players that can really do that. So I'm curious to see if they decide to do a little bit more experience for week 2,
I think,
or if
maybe,
they're gonna wait till week
yeah.
3 to do it. I'm not
I feel
sure.
like you kind of want the wins. Let's pull up the schedule, honestly.
Yeah. But while you look, I mean, again, I think everyone probably wants to see Lexi Rodriguez play. Yeah. I do too. I'm assuming she's going to be one of the libs for week 2. There's a lot of experience that I think could help if you still keep some of the younger players on.
Yeah, I think you for sure don't want to run a full, like, completely older roster. I don't even think that's possible, actually. Yeah. But you do want to see, like, some of these younger players, give them still those opportunities. Yeah, so I did pull up the schedule. We have USA versus Serbia. I don't know how hard Serbia is going to be trying, because that is always a thing. This week they didn't try as hard. USA versus Poland. Poland's a good young team. USA versus Netherlands. USA versus France. Honestly, could be a big week for the US upcoming. Could be a winning week, hopefully. Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of things that I'm curious to see. I think the big one to me is definitely the setting position.
Yeah.
I think if it's Jordan Poulter or not, I think that would be really cool. Because again, there's also still, like, the 3 setters that are left are going to be very fun to watch. Obviously, Jordan Poulter with the experience. Jenna Gray, I mean, she's been playing in Brazil, so that's a lot of pro experience, and obviously what she did at Stanford. And then Rachel Fairbanks, I think, could actually be really fun.
Yeah.
I think she's definitely one of the setters that I'm thinking about where Team USA, when the time comes,
I'm a believer.
She might be able to do it. She really might be able to do it.
Yep. I'm a believer in Rachel Fairbanks, so I would like to see her in the upcoming. That is one of the players I'd like to see.
Yeah. But the pins, I am curious about the passing.
Yeah.
I think that's probably going to be a big thing where I'm curious if they lean more towards that next week.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you bring in like an Avery Skinner and even like a Ali Franti, I feel like that definitely shores up the passing.
Yeah. At least one of them. Yeah. One of them on the court at all times, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of, like, all the other positions and who else, like, I would absolutely want to see. But I kind of like the fact that they brought a lot of the big young attackers.
Yeah, it was fun.
So.
It was fun that they really went for that youth movement, and it gave them time to see what it's like, and they got the experience for it, which I think is huge.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot Breonna Butler would also be a nice middle to bring if you want more experience, stronger roster, but maybe we don't need to stack it all on the same weeks, I guess.
Right, yeah.
So,
but I mean, I guess Lexi Rodriguez is probably the biggest one. That's probably what everyone's saying that they want to see.
That's the young player you want to see get some sort of chance.
Yeah.
I mean, we gave Zoe Jarvis a game. Morgan Hens took the other games, so why not bring in the other libero? But, yep.
That might be it for USA.
Yeah.
I think there's still positives to take away from the week. Obviously, they still got the win that they should have.
Yep.
And the loss sucks. But, hey, I mean, I don't think people were expecting the team to come out and pretty much win, like, every game anyways.
Yes. Oh, that does remind me of, like, the one last thing I wanted to say for US. My last point. For Sarah Franklin specifically, because I think she is the pin that everyone's kind of looking to for the future.
Yeah.
For a positive, I think that she was doing especially earlier on, she was doing a lot of her, like, kind of like high roll shots to, like, hit spots, which don't really fly against these tougher teams.
It's harder to. It's really hard to do that.
Yeah, but then it felt to me that I started to see her swing more aggressively, a lot more frequently, which I really like. So, like, props to Sarah Franklin. I think, to me, it's like I'm already seeing her game evolve at this VNL, and it's only been a week.
Yeah, that's true. Again, we kind of talked about it where offensively she was the best player, especially out of pins. So I'm kind of hoping maybe they bring her back, let her play week 2 as well.
I want to see her every single week, low-key.
Yeah, because I just want to see how she plays against a lot of these other teams. Because, again, I think she's a big one that everyone is trying to see. How does she look in the pro scene and national team level?
Especially because I think she's playing. I don't think she's returning to League One next year. I think she's going to Italy, if I heard right. So I think just continue stacking all this experience for her. She's going to go to Italy. Make sure she's all prepped for that. Give her the best chance to succeed. And then she'll come back to USA. Maybe she'll come back to League One.
Yeah.
Strengthen the league. But yeah, we can move on to any other VNL things that we want to talk about. Just
right to it. The main one, it has to be Japan. Japan has come out and set the tone
Japan is sick.
What the top team is going to look like for this VNL. And it's not even close to me, like how I see it with the way that they've been playing.
Yeah.
Japan to me is that top team.
Nah, Japan is so good. Like, they're going to be the best defensive team. That's just their standard. But this year, it feels like they're coming out, new coach, coming out a lot more aggressive. They're swinging hard. I feel like just aggressive attacking no matter what. So it's like an evolved version of Japan, kind of.
Yeah.
And they're running the offense so fast. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and I think the big question was with Serena Koga when she's gone, like after she retires, what is going to happen? Because, right, she was the go-to hitter. But, man, Yoshino has been so good.
Yep.
Where she honestly has kind of lived up to the hype of she's the next superstar and she's going to be trying to fill in as that go-to hitter like Koga was.
Yeah.
And then again, I think on the right side has also been just as important where
Wada
has been so electric and she's 5'9". It's insane the swings that she's taking, man. It's so crazy.
Yeah. And then obviously Ishikawa, the siblings are kind of goated.
Yeah, I mean, she's just solid, man. Yeah. You just cannot phase her. She's always going to do her job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's too good. The way that they run their system now is just way better. Feels way more conducive to wins without kind of getting the Japanese players into like a slugfest almost.
Yeah.
Defensive slugfest.
Yeah. And again, actually the middles have been actually very surprising to me. Mm-hmm. Like Irie has been so good. I think there was that one game where she had like 3 times where she was serving and she was getting digs too during the play. I'm like, man, she's actually balling out there playing defense like all the other Japan players, even like the Libs. I'm like, damn. Like if they have middles that are like this, because again, that doesn't even talk about her front row play.
Yeah.
Like the middles for Japan have been very, very good offensively, where it's like, oh man, if they got good middles too, there's a lot of things that makes Japan really tough to beat though.
And the passing will most often be there to run the middle.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, Kojima and
Nishimura.
Yeah, Nishimura, they have both been just absolute nails from the back row.
Yep.
Just diming everything.
As expected.
Defense, yeah. I mean, there's like very much little to say just because that's what's expected and that's what they always do.
Yeah.
Is they're just insane in the back row.
Yep. So Japan, I think my last thing for Japan is there are clips out there of them playing like on baseline view. You guys need to watch them. Like you can really
so awesome.
You can really like see how fast they run their game because oh my god.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm gonna say it now. Obviously, I'm gonna be a fan of the U.S. because I want the U.S. to succeed, clearly. But man, Japan is my favorite team to watch though for the women's.
Yeah,
they are my favorite team to watch. They are so fun, and the energy is awesome. I mean, it's so crazy that they're like silent killers. Mm-hmm. They're just smiling the whole time, having fun, and they're just gonna keep beating you by like making the rallies like 30 seconds long, and then they're just gonna terminate the ball.
They won't let you get a kill, and they are swinging now, so they will make you hustle.
Yeah, I just love the way that they play. It's so cool that they're just playing with a smile, and it's always like upbeat. And oh my god, the coach is so crazy because he gets so hyped up. It's actually so good. It's so fun when he's on the floor kneeling, he's pumping his fist. I'm like, wow. I don't know if I've seen a coach that animated before.
Locked in.
But man, he's got him playing at a whole different level right now.
Any other standout things to talk about? I would say Serbia is one where I'm like, they're just not taking the tournament seriously this week. So
Yeah.
You see them at the bottom, winless.
Yeah, no
Hopefully
reason.
we'll see them come back.
Yeah, no reason for them to they should panic
They're
or
not
anything
a
like
not a
that.
bad team. Poland looks like a strong young team again. They've been doing this for a couple of years now, so
Yeah. Italy, it's expected what they're doing.
yeah. Italy, standard.
Turkey as well. I think they're both teams that you would expect to be towards the top. So
Yeah.
even though
Brazil-
Turkey didn't bring back like Vargas isn't here, like there's a lot of things where you're like, oh, how good is Turkey gonna be? But you gotta remember that they are just a solid team, even without Vargas.
Brazil where they should be. China,
For sure.
Germany are out about that same area.
Oh, I will say, Canada has been, they're lower on the standings, but Van Ryk
Which is beast.
is absolutely cranking the ball. There was that one Instagram post where it was like the baseline view of her serves. Dude.
Nah, she's ripping the ball.
Yeah. I'm like, that is insane. The serve that she is throwing out there, I'm like, okay, yeah. I don't think people are serving like that in the women's game. So that has to be probably one of the hardest serves.
Nah, she's
that you gotta
kind
receive.
of her.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Every other team, I think, fairly standard from what to expect. We'll see them more moving on. But yeah, we can move on, talk a little bit about the men's, just get out of the way real quick. USA men's, probably just we're going to talk about the most. I'm excited to see all of the UCLA guys all got brought on to this week.
Yeah.
All the freaking 2024 national championship team
It's
is
so
just all
fun,
here.
yeah.
A lot to look forward to. We'll catch back up in a week. That's it for the main VNL coverage that we have for this week. And it's time for us to move on to the rally round. Welcome to the rally round, where we play all of our drafts, blind rankings, other games. Let's get it started with a draft. We're doing a VNL Women's Week 1 draft, just of the players that have played so far in the VNL. So not the biggest names, so don't be asking us, oh, where's blah, 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 where's blah, blah, blah.
They didn't play yet.
They didn't play yet.
And also another contingency, and the rule is it's only one player from each country, but we're separate from each other.
Yeah.
So I can take someone from USA, and he can also take someone from the US. But we can't have two players from the US.
Yeah.
Like, I can't have one. I can't have two.
Yep.
Or he can't have two.
Yep.
But there might end up being times where it's two players from the same country, but it's each of our teams.
Yes. The top countries, you'll be seeing each of us pick someone from that team. Let's draft teams using the VNL Women's Week 1 players. And you have first pick.
All right, first pick for this week.
Go.
And my first pick, I love this team. I love this player. I got to take Ishikawa. Ishikawa Mayu, you are on my team. Let's go.
Solid pick, solid
One of the
pick.
best passers and one of the best defenders and one of the best swing.
So we're doing this off of Week 1 performances, right?
Yeah. That's also part of it too.
Yeah, that's
Off
why
of week 1. It's not just the player. It's off of week 1.
why I'm really thinking. From Brazil, I'm taking Ana Cristina.
Woo!
Absolute monster, dominated
Yeah.
every team.
She destroyed the US.
That gave me a little bit of depression, but that's okay. Welcome to the team. Absolute monster. Best outside I could pick from. And then let's rep North America. Give me Van Ryk from Canada.
Oh. Not US. Right. North America.
North America. I'll avoid US for now.
I feel really good about this pick, and I'm actually happy that she's still there. I'm going to take one of my favorite setters. Let me get Gledpard Pornpoon from Thailand, baby. Great defense.
Very fair.
Obviously one of the best setters, so I really like that. Since I got Pornpoon, she's a little bit shorter. I need a go-to right side with some height. Let me get Magdalena Stysiak from Poland.
Let me finish out my outside hitter position. Let me take Baladin from Turkey. Absolute beast. Yeah, I think she's going to be the offensive firepower to continue working for my team right now. I just have a team of freaking attackers right now. We're going to bomb the ball. So I like that. Then for the middle, give me Wang Yuan. She's one of my favorite middles just in general to watch globally right now. So I like her on my team.
Let me round out my outsides. I'll get Wu Mengjie from China.
Solid.
Because China's been looking pretty good right now. And their outsides have been kind of strong point, actually.
You didn't get their GOAT outsides, though.
Yeah, that's okay. They didn't play, so
Yeah, unfortunate.
couldn't do it. And then from Serbia, I'll take Hena Krtajic.
It's a good pick. I had her on my list as well.
Get me
Tough,
one of my
tough, tough.
middles.
That was my middle pick, I'll have to pivot to what I was considering. She was my MVP for the week. For my middle blocker, my last middle blocker, I'm taking Amber IG from the US. I'm repping North America, baby.
No, she definitely had a really good week, though.
Yep.
So cannot complain against that.
And then for my second to last pick, give me my libero. Give me one of the best liberos, probably the best libero in the world. Give me Manami Kojima.
She's been killing it. She's been killing it.
She just reads the game different.
And then for one of my middles, for my last middle, I'm going to take Julia. I'm not going to say the full name. I'm probably going to butcher it anyways.
From Brazil.
From Brazil, yes. And then for my last pick, my lib, I'm going to get De Janeiro from Italy.
And that perfectly leads into my last pick for my setter. I'm taking Alessia Oro, also from Italy. Pretty good draft. Okay, let's review our teams. I'll go first. So for my setter, I have Alessia Oro from Italy. Then for my outsides, I have Anna Cristina from Brazil and then Hande Baladin from Turkey. For my middles, I have Wang Yuan from China and Amber Igidi from the US. And then for my right side, I have Kira Van Rijk from Canada, and my libero is Manami Kojima from Japan.
And then for me, my setter is going to be Guedapard Pornpoon from Thailand. My outsides are going to be Mayu Ishikawa from Japan and Wu Mengjie from China. My middles will be Krtajic from Serbia and Julia from Brazil. And my libero will be De Janeiro from Italy. And then my right side will be Magdalena Stysiak from Poland.
You got some pretty stacked teams. I'm sure if everyone brought their full rosters, we could have gotten even more stacked teams, but this is just the week one teams. Let us know how we did. Obviously we had to leave out a lot of players. So.
Yeah. Who would you have taken? Were there any big players that had big time games that we didn't take?
Yeah, you guys can even draft teams with players that neither of us picked, and let us know if you can beat us. That does it for our draft this week, and it's time to move on to another fan favorite. It's time for us to predict some rosters.
And then obviously this is going to be for the women's rosters for the upcoming college season, and there's a lot of movement in the transfer portal, so it's gonna be tough, but
Yeah.
we did our best here with getting these rosters right.
Can you predict the roster for the UCLA women's team?
So the main one, the tough one was the setter. I think Zaina Meyer was one of the transfers, and she's big time. She was with Long Beach. She had 3 good seasons there, and this is her graduate season. So for me, I had to put Zaina Meyer as the starting setter. Kate Duffy was the other setter that's still left over after Audrey Pack graduated. But I think with the experience that Zaina Meyer has, I think she's definitely going to take it from me, at least as a starter to begin with. I think Kate Duffy still had a lot of good matches. I mean, she played a good amount, but I'll go with Zaina Meyer there. For the outsides, I think Sheridan Leverett is the lock as an outside to me, just because she was already the leading scorer for UCLA, and then she was also an All-American honorable mention. So to me, that's an absolute lock as an outside. And then just a quick note, I think that the pins are going to be very interchangeable with being moved around, and the starters might change as well, just because I think there's a lot of pins that can be really useful for this UCLA team. But for now, I have Kiki Horn, and she played in all the matches last year, and she was also tied for second in kills for the team. I think she was really dynamic at the net and super physical. But then I also have to consider Maggie Lee. She was one of the other transfers in from Cal, and I think she could make a really big impact for this team, just because she was the focal point for Cal, and I think she could be really important for them, especially for ball control wise. I think she was really good as a passer and receiver, and she could still put the ball away. So I would still think that she's going to get some playing time here for the Bruins. And then the middles. This is the one that's kind of crazy because to me, it looks like it's pretty much just transfers.
It is.
Well, you'll hear it. You'll hear
Yeah.
it. The first one, this was shockwaves to me that she left Louisville. But PK Kong, I think she had really good outings with Louisville. Obviously, they went to the national championship twice. They're in the Final Four 3 times that she's been in college, and she's a really strong middle. She can be really dynamic at the net. She can block, and she can definitely get swings. And then the other middle, to me, is going to be Mariana Singletary. I know that there's another player I'll talk about later, but Mariana Singletary was on a really strong Texas team that was really competitive, and I think that she's going to be a really strong middle that can, again, shore up the front line for the middles. And, I mean, she's really good as a blocker, and she can definitely put some balls down and be really efficient with it. And then the main one that everyone has been looking at was Hazel Alavak. She was the one that went really viral on YouTube and on social media. I think she's a really good player. She was on the 2024 U19 national team. I think she can definitely look to compete for a starting spot. I just think it's going to be difficult just because of the experience that the other two have now as they transfer in. So it'll be a little bit difficult for her to compete for a starting spot. I think she's still definitely going to play. She's going to get experience, and I think that'll be huge for her. But I think just the experience outweighs what she can bring to the team, at least
right away.
Yeah, in the beginning of the season. And then for the opposite, I have Grace Olson. She was starting in a lot of the matches, and again, she also tied. She was the one that Kiki Horn tied for second in kills. So I think this is, again, one of the ones where Maggie Lee or Kiki Horn they might alternate around a little bit here. Just because of, I mean, I think all of those pins are really useful and they can be really impactful. But as of right now, I just see it as Grace Olson. She's going to take up the opposite position. And then as the libero, this was the one that was a late transfer. This was very recent, but I think it has to be the newest transfer from Wisconsin, Lola Schumacher. She was super electric when she was with Wisconsin. I mean, that team was really great in the Big Ten. And she moves to another Big Ten team across the way on the West Coast.
Across the freaking country.
Yeah. And I think she's going to be super strong and really consistent as a passer. I mean, she was able to compete and win that starting libero spot as a freshman. I think she's going to be really good for the Bruins. And it's going to be really, really fun to see her with I think this is going to be a really electric and fun team to watch. And then you can't count her out, Sydney Brion. I think she was as a DS a lot of the time in the spring games, or she was a DS a lot of the time last year, and then even in the spring games up until recently, she's actually been playing as a libero. So I think you still got to give her some consideration, at least to start off with. But to me, I think Lola Schumacher, she's going to come in and be really consistent in the back line. I think this UCLA team is going to round out and be really good. I think this might actually shake up the way that the Big Ten is looked at. Obviously, it's been one of the best conferences, and this is just another team that's going to be a powerhouse that will make it a lot more interesting for the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, UCLA was like good last year, but by Big Ten standards, you weren't really looking at them like that.
There was too many good teams.
Yeah, and here they are now looking stacked with transfers.
Yeah, and the power might shift just a little bit, and I think UCLA is gonna look really good.
Rooting for you guys, UC to UC. But yeah, I guess that does it for that. Let's move on. We got more roster predictions. We're moving on to Texas. A lot of movement going around. So who will be your starting 7 for the Texas women?
So the big one here is Avery Carlson transferred out. She went to SMU. So I think Ella Swindow is going to slide right back in as a setter here. She's going to take this role back up after her freshman year where she had a really strong year. They won the national championship, and she was a freshman that year. I think this is just another little wake-up call to people showing that she is a strong setter. And there was a reason why that team was so good in 2023. And she's also on the U23 national team. So there's just like more to cement that I think she's going to take back up the setter role here. And then a big transfer from Pitt is going to be Tori Stafford. She's going to be a junior now, and she was one of the go-to hitters on one of the best offenses in the nation for Pitt there. Obviously, they still have a really good team, but Tori Stafford joining the Texas Longhorns, I think this is going to be kind of a tough role for her to fill, where it's pretty much that she's going to be looked at to become the big go-to hitter here after Maddie Skinner's departure. You know, I think she's up to the challenge. I think she'll be a great leader, and she's going to be really good for this Longhorn team.
I think this is what she wanted too. As she was leaving Pitt, this is probably the role that she wants to step into.
And I think she can do it, for sure. Next, this one is going to be tough. To me, there was two really good freshmen that are coming in. It's Abby Vanderwall and Marisha Spears. I think they're both really good. They're both electric players. But to me, I'm going with Abby Vanderwall. She was one of the top recruits. She's on the U21 national team. She got selected for that team. And then Marisha Spears, a little backstory. She actually won the National Player of the Year in high school from last year. So, I mean, I feel like they can't go wrong here. I think it's going to be just dependent on how each of them look. And to be honest, you might have to look at them being subbed in. I think there might be a DS in play here. We'll talk about the pins in a little bit. I think there's still a little bit of flexibility there. And then the middle, I think Aiden Ames is a lock. She was one of the starting middles from last year. She had a really good freshman year, and she's also on the U21 team as well. So a lot of Longhorn representation there. And then the other middle is going to be a little more difficult. I think Nia Bunton might be able to win that just because of the experience. She's been in the program for longer. But there's also Taylor Harvey. I think she's also on this U21 team, and she's a strong candidate. She's going to be a freshman. I think to start off with, they might go with Nia Bunton from experience, and then Taylor Harvey might take up that starting role later in the season, if not right away. And then the right side, I think this one is going to be really strong for them. I think Devin Kahahawai is going to be, that experienced pin hitter for Texas going into her senior year. And I think she's potentially going to be able to play in both pins as well because of the defense and the passing that she could do. So I'm not sure how it's going to look, once the season actually starts, what's going to happen with those outsides. But I think Devin can really step up and play in either position there. And then again, she's also on the U23 national team with Ella Swindle. So definitely even more experience there, which will be nice. And then the liberos. This one is super interesting to me. I think Emma Halter has kind of tried to been filling that role after Zoe Fleck Jarvis now has left. And I think she's been a really solid successor as a libero. So that has always, to me, that's where I would see them going initially. But now there is extra competition for Emma Halter, and I think she's up for it. But now they are adding Ramsey Gary from Indiana, which is another big transfer for Texas. This really helps them, just shore up their back row. The passing and the defense should be a little bit better. Now having a really good experienced player as well to be on the back line with Emma Halter. And then she's also on this U21 national team. There's so many Longhorns. There's a lot of experience to go around here for the national team that can definitely help them out here. And then, like I was saying, I think Emma Halter as the lib definitely makes the most sense, at least initially. But then I think Ramsey Gary, if she's not playing as the lib, she's going to be playing a lot of DS, and she'll be getting a lot of playing time as well. And then I think it could go either way. I think it could still be Ramsey Gary as the lib and then Emma Halter as a DS. I think Jarrett Elliott will be willing to experiment with that, so we'll have to see. But definitely a very revitalized Texas team after losing such a star player. They'll still be a very exciting team when you're looking at the SEC here.
Yeah, I mean, everyone always expects Texas to be strong, so
I think they still will be.
Yeah.
It's a tough transition that they have to make here, but with the firepower that they got coming in, I think they might be able to do it.
Let us know what you guys think about this Texas team. Again, a lot of movement going around for them, so it could be interesting. And now we're moving on to our final roster prediction of the week. We're doing Louisville. I'm doing Louisville again to talk more about their freshman class this time.
Can you predict Louisville's starting roster?
All right. So let's start off talking about how they have the number 4 freshman class. They're going to be very strong, and I think we might be seeing some of them make an impact, which is why I'm doing this again. Let's talk setters first. They just got their transfer from the University of Washington, Molly Wilson. She's a senior transfer, very, very good, experienced player. But they also have Naelis Cabello from last year, who was the ACC Freshman of the Year. I think they're both going to be playing because Louisville was already running that 6-2, so I think we're going to see both of them in. Naelis is one of the captains, so we for sure will be seeing her, and I think if they are going to end up doing a 5-1 at any point, she's going to be the lead setter. I just admire her leadership from just last year's run. I think just the passion that she had on the court, she really held up the team that way,
which is
especially
tough
after injuries.
Yeah, because it was a very experienced team that she was playing with, but she was still super vocal even as a freshman. So yeah, she was definitely fun to watch.
Yeah, taking command already. But now let's talk about one of the freshmen that we kind of need to talk about. We have Hannah Kenny, who is a freshman setter. She was a setter, but I've heard some rumblings that she could be getting some burn as libero, so I don't know how it's going to go. She is only 5'7". She has mad hops, though. So could be a setter.
Short queen.
Wouldn't completely count her out, but we do have the other two setters there, so not sure yet. And we'll talk about Hannah Kenny later on. So let's just move on to the outsides first. We have the big replacement here. We have Chloe Chacoin. She's the one who's going to be replacing Anna DeBeer. She's the junior transfer from Purdue. One of the biggest moves in the transfer portal.
Early on, too.
Yeah.
And
this is right away.
Yeah, I mean, the Purdue star outside duo, they break up here, and Chloe Chacoin now on Louisville is going to be fun. For sure.
They're moving on to try and be stars, I guess, each to themselves, and it's definitely possible here. I think she will be looked at as the go-to hitter for this team, just like Anna DeBeer was. And I think she can step up to it. I actually think that they fill in pretty similar roles to each other.
They kind of play a little similar, which is nice. That they're like a do-it-all, scrappy outside hitter that is willing to do everything. Block, pass, set, hit. They'll do everything. Yeah,
so maybe not a lot of change vibes-wise in that position. And last thing of note, she's on the U23 USA team. Props to her. She's going to get a lot of improvement this summer. Going to come in stronger than we knew her from Purdue. So that'll be crazy. The second outside position, it's going to be tough. Right now, one of my options is Peyton Peterson. She is a sophomore, but she was a freshman who had to step up after Anna DeBeer got injured. And she won some of their national championship games for Louisville. So I think you're going to have to give her some burn.
Yeah. I mean, that was so fun to watch her come out of nowhere. And then everyone was like, who is Peyton Peterson? When she came in last year after Anna DeBeer went down. And I mean, she's a big-time player, so.
Yeah. She stepped it up. She got those aces. She got those kills. Oh, my God. I'm a fan. So I'm looking forward to seeing her. But she does have competition from an incoming freshman. We have Chloe Meester. She's one of the big hyped-up freshmen, again, for Louisville. And she's going to be coming in as an outside who has a lot of accolades. She was playing for one of the top club teams. And I think we could be seeing her and Peyton Peterson kind of competing for that spot. But at least right now, Peyton Peterson has shown me the clutch gene. So I'm going to take her. And
a little more experience, too, now that she had that one season under her.
Yeah. Didn't play too much during it, but you can't not count that. And then we have the other two outside prospects. We have Alana Bankston. She's a junior outside hitter. She could see some play here and there. She didn't get too much in previous years, but college season's long. Give everyone a lot of play. Then we have Ava Utterback, who is a sophomore outside hitter. She redshirted in 2024, so she'll be coming in here looking to make an impact, start getting her role here. I don't know how much will be open for her, but again, it's a long season. Louisville, I think every year plays a lot of games randomly. Yeah. I don't know if it's like a conference thing or something, but they play a lot of games, so she will also be getting play. Everyone needs to get play in these long seasons.
Yeah, I think this is just a crazy part for Louisville, is just trying to replace two outside hitters at the same time.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of experimenting, I think.
Yeah, I think all of them are going to be playing a bunch, and then they're just going to have to roll with whoever looks the best, I guess.
Yeah,
it's going to be kind of hard, though.
That's kind of how it works with the NCAA. It's you start off the season, and you just work your way to figuring out the roster.
Yeah, do not envy this position to try and figure out these outsides.
Oh, yeah. That's why this is a tough one for me to pick already. But let's move on to the middles, where big thing is that they lost PK Kong to UCLA, like we just talked about. Crazy loss, but they still have Kara Cressy, who is a redshirt senior. She's already one of the best blockers in the nation. She's on the U23 team, USA. She's going to get more experience. She's right there with Chloe Chacoin, so they'll be vibing a little bit. I don't know if that connection matters too much, middle, outside, but they'll both be getting some good experience, and she's the absolute lock to be a starting middle blocker.
For sure. She might be like one of their main focal points of the offense too, actually. Yeah. Just because, I mean, she's one of the best middles probably in the nation, and I think this lets her kind of sprout her wings even more with this team.
And then we have Hannah Sherman as one of the other options for middle. She's a redshirt junior. She got playing time last year already, and they are looking for someone to step up, so as she's already experienced in the system, maybe it's going to be her. But we have some freshmen coming in, and they are hyped up. The first one is Kalissa Blackshear. She's a freshman who super hyped up, and I think she's going to see a lot of burn, especially early in the season, along with Hannah Sherman and our final middle blocker, Addison McCoon. This is the middle blocker that I've actually heard the most about. People are really hyped. They're saying that she is for real. She is legit. She is an athlete. So I'm hoping to see a lot of her coming into the season. She's one of the top prospects. It's always difficult to tell with freshmen, especially middle blockers, where you need to be a little bit more physical at that position.
Yeah.
And moving from just club to college is a tough ask. That is why I have Hannah Sherman to start. It's a tough call. I think it'll be whoever can step up, get used to the NCAA level. Again, NCAA is hard on the body with these many games, especially for middles. Everyone's going to get some play. They're going to be experimenting. But that takes us to our right sides, where there's only one official right side on the roster right now. We have Reese Robbins. She was playing last year. She was the right side last year. She's a junior. Honestly, you could see some other people kind of taking a right side spot, especially if they're trying to do the 6'2" that we know Louisville for. So expect Reese Robbins to be a big scorer of anyone trying to play the right side. But that's all I have for now. And then let's move on to libero/DS. We have who I think is going to be the starting libero. We have Camden Strand, who was the main DS last year, behind Elena Scott. It is big shoes to fill, but she has the experience. She's been playing at this level in this system. I think she's the go-to to take a look here. She's really good. She actually has a really good serve, which the only level where it's important for a libero to have a good serve is NCAA. So yeah. She has a good serve.
And Elena Scott had one too, so it'll be nice to have a libero that can still serve really well.
Still keep that going for you. And then we have our other options are Sam Unteed, who is a sophomore. She's also DS libero. I think she could move into the DS spot. Not secured because DSs, it's always hard to tell the progress that's being made in the offseason, especially when you don't see too much of them in the season.
Yeah.
I think everyone else here we don't really see. But the rumblings I've seen for the setter that I mentioned previously is Hannah Kenny. She is a freshman setter, but she's extremely well known for her defense. I've heard a little bit that she could potentially be making a move to libero. Some people say that Elena Scott was also a very good setter.
She definitely was.
So
if there are any knowers, and definitely the Cardinal fans know that Elena Scott was a good setter, but obviously she played great defense.
So Hannah Kenny could be taking this spot. Before DBK left, she was talking very highly of Hannah Kenny specifically for her defense. So who knows? She could be moving into a DS libero spot maybe, which would be crazy. But you never know. It's hard to tell with incoming freshmen defensively. Then we have our other two DSs who probably will be fighting for that and are options. We have Jessica Drapp and Molly Urban as potential options, but Louisville, they had some major losses in their roster, but I think they picked up a pretty good group of girls to enter this 2025 season with.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's still definitely going to be a team that's going to be looking to contend and be a really good team still.
Yeah, I think people may count them out, especially since they lost almost all of their starters from last year.
Yeah.
But looking at the roster, I really don't think you can count them out. I think they will be contending.
They'll be strong in the ACC for sure.
Yeah. And that does it for our roster predictions this week. For our last segment of the day, we have blind rankings, and we're moving away from just the US. We are blind ranking Week 1 VNL player performances. So, can you blind rank these Week 1 VNL player performances for the women? To start us off, we have Ishikawa Mayu from Japan. She played like a beast. She's the captain.
She's been nasty this first week.
Here are her performances of the week. We'll put them on the screen as well, but she had a crazy week.
Dude, this has to be one, man. This has to be one. I mean, this team is unstoppable right now. Didn't drop a set. They're beating every single team. And, man, she's scoring. She's one of the best passers. She's doing everything for this team. Number one. No question.
Yep. As an overall, she played crazy. Our next player is Alexia Karutatsu from Turkey, and she's an opposite, and she also had a great week. She scored 91 points and had a 38-point performance.
Yeah, she's the scoring leader of Week 1. She went absolutely berserk. God dang. This is hard, man. I feel like purely based off of that Game 1 against China where she went off, you kind of have to give her, like, this has to go number 2. She just went absolutely insane. She just went insane. I mean, 38 points is just disgusting in any match.
Yeah, that's the combined score of her next two games. And those are both good games, too.
She scored 19 points for both of those games. Jeez. And she did it in one match.
Yeah, that's kind of gross. Put her at number 2.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
And then your next player is Hena Kurtajic from Serbia, the middle blocker. She's one of the best blockers in the tournament so far.
Yeah, I mean, she's been doing her thing. And
11 block points.
I know, and offensively, she's no slouch either. She's been doing well offensively too. This is tough. I'm gonna put her at. I'll go 4 here. I just want to play a little safe. Yeah. She still went nasty. Yeah. So like I think about 3, but I'll play it safe. I'll put 4.
We got a lot of good players. It was already tough to pick them. And your next player is Ana Cristina from Brazil. Absolute monster performances. She had 73 points on the week.
Yeah, she actually was going crazy. She's not blocking like Kurtajic was, but she's scoring insane. So, and I mean, she's passing as well. I mean, she's an outside. So, I'm going to give Ana Cristina, I'll give her number 3.
All right, there you go. There's your number 3. Pretty valid.
And they're winning.
Yeah, but that means at number 5, you have Kira Van Ryk from Canada. She is one of the scoring leaders of the tournament so far. It's tough.
Oh no, I fumbled that. Van Ryk is definitely not here at 5. This doesn't make sense. This is damn near 2. This is 2, honestly. This might be 2 or 3. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, I ruined it. Man, all right. Well,
it's all good.
I'm sorry, Van Ryk. You're going crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely not 5 here.
Yep. Not 5 material, but it's okay. It's tough. Let us know how we did on the blind ranking. Let us know how you guys would blind rank, because these are all top players. So
let's be truthful out here, man. People be criticizing me about Van Ryk. I know I screwed up. but I didn't know she was going to be there.
It's not. That's why it's blind. But that brings us to the end of today's episode. So thank you again for making it this far if you have. And please comment, like, subscribe. I think this week maybe comment your thoughts on the USA team, whatever happened with the USA. Please try to stay a little bit positive. You can be critical. just not too critical.
Yeah, we're here to enjoy volleyball and push it forward, and we love USA Volleyball. That's why we do this whole thing. But yeah, you can be critical, but let's be respectful out here.
Yeah. But yep, again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.